Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 My Team career mode for the Mexican Grand Prix, or whatever that ridiculously long name on the screen was there. But heading into this episode, we have a huge championship lead with just 3 rounds to go in the championship. 78 points left in this season if you win and get fastest lap in all the remaining rounds. Which means the math is quite simple looking at the points there. We need to score 7 points this round, or 8, just to be safe, to beat Valtteri Bottas and win the Drivers' Championship today. So that is the target, to score 8 points we need to finish in P6 or better. So it's not a huge ask. We've definitely got the car pace to do that. We've got the best car on the grid. So there should be no excuses. That shouldn't be too hard to achieve that goal. You can see repurchasing that upgrade that failed at the end of the last episode, and now we advance through Q1. We get through pretty easily. That was actually the second flyer on that tyre, and we still went fastest, but that was a considerably better lap than the first one that I was able to do. Through to Q2 then, and no real surprises there. We continue to show the pace. So now into Q3, it is crunch time. We need to get in our best lap here. So through the first 3 corners pretty well. DRS open on the run up towards the turn 4 and 5 chicane. Trying to get through here really nicely. It's a difficult couple of corners, surprisingly, but we get through there okay. Now this tricky double apex hairpin. We missed the second of those 2 apexes, but still managed to carry the speed pretty well. Now into the S's, many S's on this circuit. We continue on though to the end of the lap, and we'll see where that lap time puts us. A little bit wobbly through the final corner, but we do go fastest of all there. And we actually went for another lap at the end of the session on the fresh tyres, but we just couldn't improve on that first flyer. There was nothing wrong with this lap, it just wasn't as good. So I don't know what I did on my first lap, but it was a lot better than this one, and we're not going to improve. But thankfully,
excellent lap. We're really pleased.
That first flyer is still good enough to get us pole position in a very important race in the championship.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. The scientist, Bottas, and Lewis Hamilton. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
And surprise, surprise, it's myself, my teammate, and the 2 Mercs filling out the first 4 positions, the first 2 rows on the grid. So it will be on into the first corner. Let's go.
Here we go then. It's time to race in Mexico City, a place which gave Honda their first ever victory back in 1965. American Richie Ginther won from 3rd on the grid. And what are the Honda-powered cars this year? Well, Red Bull have been going strong here in recent seasons, so can they keep that record going today? 17 corners then at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 10 to the right and 7 to the left, and all of them will have to be tackled in difficult, wet conditions here today. No DRS assistance either, at least not for the start of the race, but the best overtaking opportunities will still be down into turn 1 or shortly afterwards into turn 4. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. The scientist lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Grosjean, Max Verstappen and Perez, Leclerc, Norris, Sainz. They've taken a grid penalty, and Pierre Gasly, Albon, Joe, Esteban Ocon and Russell, Latifi, Stroll, Nick de Vries and Kevin Magnussen. Giovinazzi, Ricciardo, Matsushita and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So there are no penalties for any of the main contenders here in this one, but the one issue is the rain. It is falling at the start of this one, and I have accidentally set this to a 50% race. I was going to do 100 for this. I was only doing 50 for Circuit of the Americas, but I forgot to change it back, so that's a pain. And the tyre wear seems incredibly high. We're trying to set up a one-stop strategy, but it is simply not letting us. It says we can do 18 laps on a tyre, and the race is 36, so, you know, that adds up to just about being able to do a one-stop, but for some reason it's not letting us delete that middle stint, so we're just going to have to roll with it and just ignore that one lap stint we put there in the middle as we now go to the 5 red lights. And away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix, slow and steady off the start line, but we are getting away from the pack behind. Valtteri Bottas slots in behind into second position. We're going to lead the way. Bottas will have a good tow though down towards his first corner, but he's not going to get close enough to go for a move. We cover off the inside a little bit early just to make sure, and we're going to lead the way through the opening 3 corners. There's been something going on because a lot of positions have changed right behind us. Grosjean's managed to get up into second position from 4th, so it's been a great start. We'll have a look on the replay to see exactly what's happened. I'm not sure what's going on with the replay. For some reason it's showing it as sunny conditions, but I promise you this is the same race that we are watching here on the replay cameras, and we got away cleanly. You can see the water spray coming off the tyres, but for some reason the sun shining down on the replay cameras. But look at this, Bottas goes for a move, and then he actually goes in very deep there. Hamilton and Grosjean both trying to get through. Grosjean's made his way through, and that is Hamilton now trying to get through on Bottas as they run side by side. Here's the onboard with Bottas to see how things played out from his perspective, and he got away from the line all right initially, bogged down a bit immediately afterwards, but that's not where he lost all the time. He's sitting in the tow here, getting a good run up towards turn 1 early on the brakes, and then just gave himself a really tight line, went in a little bit deep in the end, and he was able to not able to hold off Grosjean, who made a really great pass there, and now battling away with his teammate Hamilton, just about getting ahead there as well. So Bottas down into 4th position. He might be able to get back up the inside though of his Mercedes teammate as they run side by side through turns 3 and 4. So Bottas not giving up on this one, and Hamilton not giving any quarter to his teammate who is in the title fight. Hamilton in it for himself and trying to hold on to a podium place here at the start of this Mexican Grand Prix. They continue to run side by side. Bottas and Hamilton, the 2 Mercedes teammates, fighting it out, and this is going to go on through the S section. One of them has to give up surely through here. It's not a place you can run comfortably side by side, but they're going to keep it up. Hamilton has got most of the car ahead, but Bottas is just about keeping the fight going. He's going to have the outside line as they head into the stadium section, but he's just about keeping an overlap on his teammate. Hamilton gives him the space. Bottas back down the inside into this sharp left-hander, and now as they head towards the final few corners, Bottas is going to have the outside line around the pelotada, but he's going to do it. Valtteri Bottas finally clears his teammate and gets back up and into 3rd position. Great driving, Valtteri Bottas. He got there eventually. Lewis Hamilton, a strong fight, but that is a relief for Valtteri Bottas to try and finally try to get that 3rd position back. But that is a disaster for him in terms of the starts, because look at the time gap that he has lost to myself and Romain Grosjean further up the road. Speaking of which, Grosjean is putting the pressure on us too, as we are just struggling a little bit in these opening phases of the race. You can see how close behind Romain Grosjean is, so Romain has some really great pace here, and we don't need to fight him. He is mathematically out of the championship fight now, so he can go ahead and score all the points he wants for the constructors, and that won't really affect us in the drivers. Of course, it'd be great if we could beat him, but we're not going to fight him too hard. And in fact, you hear audibly we lifted off there and let our teammate through, because that's not the fight we need to be involved in, as we plunge ourselves back into the darkness of the onboard camera. versus the off-board that we followed for quite a while there on the replays. But yes, that is Grosjean up into the lead, and as we continue on, we will see Sergio Perez retire from the race with a mechanical failure, so no good for the AlphaTauri there at the track. Honda won their first race. One of them will not finish today, as Valtteri Bottas goes to move down the inside as we head towards the first corner, and we are just about going to try and hold on around the outside. Bottas though keeping the nose in, but we should be able to get through here on the inside, and we will give him a little bit of space, but he won't be able to take it there, and we're able to hold on to second position here. But Bottas getting racy in the opening phases here, as Verstappen is in fourth position now. I'm not sure exactly what's happened to Lewis Hamilton. Maybe he's made an early pit stop, because as we continue on, everyone makes their first round of pit stops. As you know, we are going longer in this one.
6.2 seconds.
And yeah, we've got a buffer to anyone behind us. So yeah, we're going to go long in this race and see if we can stretch it to the halfway point. But another thing on the weather indicator is that the dry weather will come at some point. However, I don't know if it will be...
Then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes into...
Yeah, I don't know if it will be... Yeah, just... if it'll be before the end of this race or not, but Jeff, they're saying it'll be in 10 minutes, so that will be before the end of this race. So that is very interesting news. I don't exactly know if that's good or not, because you can see our tyres are critically worn at the moment. We're into the 70s on the front left, so that is our worst wearing tyre at the moment, and we are risking a puncture here if we push it for too much longer, especially in a 50% race. The tyres really go off the cliff quite quickly once you hit that 75% and into the sort of puncture range. It is our lap to box, but I'm not going to unless...
There's 5 or 10 more minutes of rain before it dries up. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Yeah, Inter's still the best tyre. I'm not going to pit unless it's time for dry tyres. We've kind of unintentionally put all of our eggs in this basket. There's no point stopping now to do, 3 or 4 laps on intermediate tyres before we go back to the slicks.
Okay, looks
So
like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still on the right tyre for the time being, but we're not a million miles away from slick conditions.
yeah, this is just torture for us now to try and get through this stage of the race. And still 5 minutes left of this rain, and I am just checking lap after lap every single time we cross that start line. I'm checking to see when the rain's going to clear up and when it is okay to switch to the slick tyres. You can see our tyres are basically slicks already as we have a look in photo mode how worn these tyres are. There's barely any tread, only on the very edges of the tyre you can actually see some of the grooves there, and the rest is not looking too pretty.
We're adjusting the strategy.
And now I've got a puncture on the front left tyre, so we have pushed it too far this time, and that is going to send us tumbling down the auto as we try and maintain control of the car as we progressively lose the grip there on the front left. We cut ahead to the pit lane as we smash the entry board. That's our out of control, and now hardware still pushing. Unfortunately, when you have a punctured tyre, you drive so slowly down the pit lane, and that happened to us, and that's cost us quite a long time. And now we've put the slick tyres on, so let's see what the weather forecast is.
This rain should be ending shortly. The dry line will come in quickly, so don't waste any time getting back up to speed. Not sure whether dries or inters are faster. We're right on the crossover.
And it's the crossover, the very start of the crossover, so the intermediates will probably just be ever so slightly better, but that means these tyres will work in these conditions, and we're not going to be horrendously slow. And you can see the track visibly isn't looking too bad. But yeah, as we continue on, passing a few cars in the pits there.
Latifi just ahead, push for position. The gap to the car ahead is 23.0 seconds. They're on fresh.
Okay, that's not an accurate time at all, but yeah, you can see as we continue on up into 15th position now, so a few positions away from the points still, and we're going to need a miracle to get too much higher up. But there's a caution up ahead, a yellow flag, and there's been an issue for someone further up the road, and the safety car is out, and that is for Pierre Gasly, the other AlphaTauri, and another of the Honda-powered cars, not enjoying the thin atmosphere here in Mexico. He retires from the race with a mechanical failure. And now George Russell has an issue. That's a Ferrari-powered car with an issue here in the Haas of George Russell. So that is no good for him either. And a quick check of how everything's going for everyone else in this race. Verstappen's in a podium place at the moment in the Ferrari. We are currently situated in 13th position. Russell knocking on the door of the points there. So that is great for Russell and his ambitions in this race. But anyway, we continue on and try and get a good safety car restart here. Latifi is going to be right on the back of Russell on this restart, with Russell unfortunately having a great race, but with those issues is probably not going to end that way. But on the restart, we don't really go with Latifi, and we're actually looking back to the other Haas of Nick de Vries, who had a good restart. Sitting in the slipstream is the Dutchman, but he's not going to quite have enough as we head down towards the first corner. That Haas car probably quite draggy compared to our car, so yeah, and we are able to hold him off despite getting a bad jump off the safety car. But you can see Latifi already is closing up to the back of George Russell, and it won't be long before the Canadian is making his way through. So who knows, maybe some points are on offer for Latifi. Something else I should mention though is you'll notice everyone else is on soft tyres, which is why we're struggling so much on our mediums. But the key is we are going to the end of the race, whereas everyone else has a stop to go. So that is what the theory is for us. I'm going onto these medium tyres, and I thought this might happen, that they will have to do another pit stop if they go onto softs. That is why I picked the mediums when I had that puncture. So as we continue on, then eventually we do get past George Russell and finally make that move that took us a very long time, a lot longer than what I would have wanted. And you can see some people have already made their final stops. Is the onboard replay with George Russell. You can see the overspeed we had versus him with the DRS open and the ERS on maximum deployment in overtake mode. We are an absolute rocket ship. But continuing on then, and now the majority of the field have made their final stops. We're up into second position with the fastest lap of the race. Carlos Sainz is further up the road. He has another stop to go though, so we're not going to be too worried about him. We just need to conserve these tyres to the end and hope that we still have something to fight with if Romain Grosjean comes knocking at the end of this race. He has been absolutely rapid in this one.
Sainz is stopping now.
And Carlos Sainz making his final stop, as well as a couple of others running near the front that were yet to do so as well. Kvyat and Matsushita up there as well in top 5, still making their final stops, and that'll hand the top 5 positions to myself, Grosjean, Bottas, Hamilton, and Max Verstappen out of the final corner on the penultimate lap, running a bit wide as well, looking back at Grosjean, who's really closed the gap. It was 5 seconds a few laps ago, and now he is right there. So Romain Grosjean putting in a charge at the end of this one to try to take the race lead on the final lap, as we are going to try and maintain it for ourselves. It's a 1-2 for the team, so we don't want to do anything too silly, because the 2 Mercs are right behind. All 4 of us actually very, very close at the end of this one, and Max Verstappen is not far behind as well. So as we look down from this amazing helicopter shot here on the final lap, a little bit deep into turn 4, we're just about covering off Grosjean through turn 5, but that has really allowed the Frenchman to close up behind us, but we are just about going to hold on there. His only opportunity really is going to be into the stadium section. You're not going to really get through during the S section on this circuit. It's just a single line part of the circuit, but we got a bad exit there, and look at the overspeed Grosjean has. He goes to the outside as we head towards the stadium section for the final time, but he's going to pull out of it, and he's maintained second position and hold off the 2 Mercedes. But he's done a great job all season, and that is not something that can be denied. But for us, just a few meters further up the road, we're not only going to win the Mexican Grand Prix, we're going to win the championship as well as we cross the line side by side. And that is a very, very sweet victory in this race today.
Fantastic drive. It means your driver's world champion. What a result. Enjoy it.
I certainly will. I certainly will.
And so the celebrations begin. Well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no counting them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. That's a spectacular victory then, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Unbelievable scenes here in Mexico. Wow, wrapping up the championship 2 rounds early. That is awesome stuff. But didn't come easy. When I got that puncture at the end of the intermediate tyre stint, I thought that was race over, and I thought that would be Bottas in second position and possibly keeping the fight going, but we managed to come back from that. That safety car from Pierre Gasly absolutely saved our race 100%. Without that, we never ever could have caught up the time that we did. So we were incredibly lucky with the timing of that safety car that no one could make a pit stop because it was too early. If that had been a few laps later, everyone on the softs would have pit, and they would have been able to continue on to the end ahead of us. But yeah, the fact we were able to gain all that time absolutely saved our race without a doubt. So yeah, really grateful for that one. Certainly a bit of luck there, but anyway, other than that though, it was a very weird race because I mean, obviously, as you saw, we ended up winning the thing without really having the best pace. At no point really were we the fastest car on track. We did get a fastest lap at the end of everyone else's first soft tyre stint, but all through the wet conditions we were slow, and we picked the medium tyres over the softs. And yeah, at no point were we really truly faster than the cars we were fighting with. So how this happened, I'm not sure. You even saw in the safety car restart we were struggling to fight with the Hasses and Williams. So yeah, it was a very weird one here, but a race win nonetheless, and of course the championship as well.
First of all, congratulations, you must be thrilled. How are you feeling after that win?
Unbelievable. Everything just came our way today. It was incredibly lucky, but yeah, very, very good.
Your team dominated the race today. Was it the car or the teamwork? What's the secret to your success?
I'm not sure. I guess the teamwork was very important. We never got in our teammate's way when he was faster at the start of the race, and he held position at the end to give us a helping hand on the final lap.
How does it feel to be this year's Formula One champion?
It's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, it's insane to get to this point in just our second season as a team.
Things are looking up after last week, aren't they?
Well, yeah, we didn't have any damage to the car, which certainly helps. And yeah, as I said, we were very, very lucky today with the timing of that safety car. It really saved our race, honestly, but you know, we'll take it any way it comes. A race win is a race win, and this one is going to be very, very special.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Thanks, Clear. There we have it. That brings an end to the Mexican Grand Prix weekend and the title fight of this season. So, in light of that, and with the next F1 game right around the corner, I am going to do the next 2 races as 50% races, distance races as well, just to hurry things along a bit, and I'll probably put them in the same video as well. So that will just give me a better chance of actually completing this by the time F1 2021 is released, because I want to obviously focus on that as soon as possible. So yeah, there's not really much point covering all of this stuff that's going on the screen right now. It's not really going to make any significant difference. And now I can say that with certainty. We haven't quite wrapped up the Constructors' Championship, I don't think, or at least I haven't heard that we have, but I guess we'll find out later on. But yeah, other than that then, there is not a lot left to cover, so I will say thank you so much for watching to the end, and I will see you next time for the Brazilian and Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Goodbye. And here's a little bonus if you made it all the way to the end of this video. This is something I discovered when I was looking at the replay cameras after the race. If you just let it go on for a few more seconds after you cross the line, I don't know if this is just just because I won the championship, or if it's specific to the track, or what. But the car's actually teleported to the, I guess the Parc Fermé area where they parked up for the podium. So that was interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before, as we're having a little look around the circuit as well. But yeah, this is also where I got the thumbnail for this video, if you're wondering. Just looking straight on at the top 3 there, because it kind of it was more interesting than any of the photos I took during the race. So yeah, it kind of looked interesting. But if you fast forward a little bit further, you could even see the car went into the pit garage as well after this little section. But for some reason the I guess 4th to 7th were parked there, and I had a look around the circuit, and there were no other cars, so I don't know why those 4 get to park up there, but anyway, that's a thing. But yeah, as I was messing around with this, I yeah, did a whole lap around the circuit, and I didn't see a single other car. But as we go to the cockpit camera here, you can see the car sitting here, the driver celebrating, and then we get teleported, I think, into the pit garage, where things get a little bit glitchy. Unfortunately, it didn't let me go into photo mode here. I would love to have actually been able to have a look at this properly, but yeah, unfortunately it wouldn't let me actually activate the photo mode. But yeah, this was all very very strange. I can't say I've ever been able to do this kind of thing outside of a practice session, where there's a little glitch you can use to get the camera outside of the track limits, if you like, whereas normally you know, when you go into photo mode, you can't actually leave the circuit and, you know, kind of have a look around the pits or the rest of the map. So yeah, this is one of the sort of few times you can actually do that. But as you can see, things are a little bit strange. We have someone literally standing in our nose cone, so that's not great. Clearly our car is made out of jelly. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Yeah, I will just say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time for the final 2 races of the season. I don't even know what's happening at this point. Goodbye.